Okay. So here we go. I wanted to start off by talking about some observations that I'm sure all of you are familiar with. We have, in the age of COVID here, a lot of students at university who are feeling very isolated for a variety of reasons. The main reason, the primary one, is they come to university, or maybe they're studying from home. Wherever they are, they're deprived of a lot of the usual opportunities to build those peer networks that we know are so essential to thriving and working successfully at university. We have students who are living away from their family, but they're in an environment where they can't really do the usual student things, go to parties, go to events, and make friends. Or we have students who are living at home and are not in the campus environment, and they're facing additional challenges, limited quiet study space, possibly younger siblings around distracting them. So we have students of all varieties. And at Swansea in particular, we have a lot of students who are either international students very far away from home, or students who are the first generation in their family to go to university. And I think these are two groups that face particular challenges with regards to mental well-being and feelings of isolation during this time. So this is the context that we're in. Why is this not? No, there we go. So the point I want to make is that we have limited access to our students in terms of interactive moments, our scheduled class time. These synchronous sessions are an incredibly valuable resource, and we should be using it effectively. So my feeling is that using the synchronous session time to simply deliver a lecture is a lost opportunity. Students like lectures and we like giving lectures, but there are possibly more valuable things we can do with those synchronous sessions. And just as a disclaimer, for the last few years, I've been incrementally moving towards incorporating more of a flipped classroom approach to my teaching. And the pandemic came along and kind of pushed me over the cliff edge, as it were. So what I want to talk about here is making use of our synchronous sessions. We've been using Zoom at my institution as an opportunity to help students connect with each other and help them build those peer support networks that are so essential. And the main tool I use for this in technical terms is the breakout rooms. Of course, simply dumping students into breakout rooms in various formats is not always a raging success. You have to think about it very carefully, and you have to give them some sort of direction. They need a directed task that they're supposed to work on if you want the people in the room to actually talk to each other and do something that's interactive. So just as a quick review for everybody who hasn't necessarily heard of flipped classrooms in the past, the idea is we sort of turn things around. Before the class, the students do some activity. In the case of how I'm delivering here, they watch a video. During the class, having watched the video, they do some active, engaging activity. They practice. In my case, it's usually either doing a little quiz or working in small groups on some task, either answering homework questions or doing a peer marking. And then one of the keys to a successful flipped classroom approach is making sure that there's some follow-on after the class. So the students have a motivation to actually come to the class. So you need to do something before, something in the class, and something after, and these need to all synergize with each other. So here's the weekly cycle that I've been following. And I've done this now for 2 modules back in the fall term and again the spring term. I usually have 4 sessions per week. These are 4 synchronous sessions. Before each session, the students have a video, usually about 25 minutes in length to watch. And then in the session, I start with a little bit of chat with the students just to get them comfortable. Then we have a 5-minute quiz. And the quiz does 2 things. I ask them questions like, how are you doing? Are you up to date on watching the videos? How do you feel about this material or that? did the last assignment take you too many hours, or was it a reasonable workload? So it's a chance for them to give me feedback. And then I'll have usually some questions, very easy questions based on the material in the most recent video or the most recent 2 videos. And that's a chance for the students to give themselves some feedback and see, have they actually absorbed the content from the videos? So this is a 2-way feedback mechanism. So I do the quiz, and then I talk through the results. I say, okay, I see that some of you are feeling that you're falling behind. Maybe I'll try to make the next video shorter, or what can we do? And then we go into a cycle where on the 4 sessions of the week, I follow a particular pattern. On the first day, after we've done the quiz, I show them the new homework sheet. And then I put them into breakout rooms. And with Zoom, of course, you have the choice of whether you randomly assign participants to breakout rooms or whether you allow them to choose. So I allow the students to choose the breakout room, so they get to choose who they work with. And I pop into the rooms and chat with them and say, how are you doing? Have you done question 2? Do you understand what it's asking here? And I give them a chance to engage with me, and I try to make sure that they are engaging with each other. And if they're not, then I spend more time in that room trying to get it going. Days 2 and 3 follow the same pattern. And then day 4, I do something a little different. I do the breakout rooms, but they're randomized this time. And I put them into groups of 2, 3, or 4 students. And their task in the breakout rooms now is to take the homework sheet that they've hopefully finished and download the solutions set that I've just uploaded and peer mark each other. And then they have to upload a little paragraph explaining the result of the peer marking, what they learned from looking at the other person's sheet, how the feedback from the other person helped them, and what they thought of the whole process and what mark they have received on their sheet. So the point is that they have to work with a variety of different people when they're doing the peer marking. And one of the key things here is to explain the motivations why we're doing things the way we are. And I tell them over and over again, you learn by looking at the way different people write and present their work. And if you always look at the same person's work, then you will be deprived of that learning experience. So I'm out of time here, but I'll just show some comments, the good and the bad. One student said this is our only social interaction with course mates, so it's very much needed. I feel excited to log on to Zoom. This is a good chance to catch up with friends. Lots of positive feedback. I've gained a strong bond with 3 of my other classmates, so we work together as a team. However, a number of students say I feel anxious about interacting in the breakout rooms to the point where I don't do it. I will not turn my camera on for someone else. And I don't know how to overcome these difficulties. I'm still struggling with that. And if anybody has suggestions, please let me know. And then just a comment here, going over the work I've submitted and analyzing it so that students are reflecting on their work. And that's a really essential thing. And I'm out of time, so I'll end there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. That was really interesting and great set of comments from students there as well.